Hey, it's Ashley, sexual 3-wing 4 ENFP. And I have from here the Enneagram Institute, the dynamic between Enneagram 1s and Enneagram 3s in a relationship. This is typically for romantic relationships, but maybe you can see some parallels between romantic relationships and also other relationships like friends, family, coworkers. I wanted to check it out because my guy is, as you might know, a 1-wing 2. And even though I am a sexual 3 and I can look like a 7 or a 2, I am not a counter type. It's interesting. Being a sexual 3, it's a little bit different than looking like a 3 of a stereotype of 3. Looking first at the plus sides to being together, Enneagram 1s and 3s are both competent, serious-minded, and idealistic. This is definitely in health because, and also the stereotype, typically a social 3, a self-preservation 3. This is a highly task-oriented relationship with both partners driven to hard work and to be intensely aware when individually and collectively they are not measuring up to their own expectations and high standards. Both parties can bring selflessness. Wow. I would never think about that for a 3. Self-discipline, good work habits, and the ability to put aside their personal feelings for the sake of the objective good that needs to be done. Wow, that's great. Man, looking like a 7, not in health, I see the incongruency between myself and this. Most types are used to working so hard that they often succeed, garnering admiration from those around them and attaining places of leadership and responsibility. The 1 and 3 combination can be dazzlingly accomplished, high energy, extraordinarily competent, and impressive both individually and collectively. They both strive after excellence, both as an ideal and as something to personally embody. Sometimes they succeed so well that this pairing virtually glows with self-confidence and the thrill of their own talents. Yeah, it's painful to read that because it's been tough the last few years. And just knowing that I'm falling short of my potential and what I've been in the past, it's really difficult to see this in comparison. They strive to make each other proud of them, someone the other can look up to and show off to his or her friends and family. I'm like holding back tears reading this. They enjoy planning and organizing their lives, dividing up responsibilities after seeing who is objectively better at which tasks. Both thrive on respect and give each other personal space. You know, just reading this, I'm glad that we have this potential because I'm just not in a healthy space and I'm not able to live up to what I'm supposed to be. 3 disintegrates into 9 and the unhealthy side of 9, so 9 can be disengaged and complacent. There are only 2 other equally goal-oriented pairings, a 1 with a 1 and a 3 with a 3, although since these both are same type pairings, they typically have blind spots that these combinations will need to be aware of. Both the 1-3 is a mixed pair. That's good. It produces a powerful coalition that is capable of dealing both with ideals and with practical matters. They will try to solve problems in the relationship by discussing issues involved, since neither like emotionally charged bickering or unresolved issues. That's true. 1s help 3s be more grounded and realistic. I can see that. 3s help 1s stretch themselves and not be so perfectionistic. Stretch themselves, I mean, maybe thinking in a different way, being challenged to not just be so limited in their thinking. In that way, they would stretch the 1s. They're both industrious and persistent, efficient, and concerned with excellence and with making a real difference in the world. Didn't cry. I'm a 3, I don't cry. I'm just kidding. I'm a sexual 3, so being in touch with the emotions, I would be the 3 instinct that's most likely to cry. The others don't cry. The Enneagram correlation with them tends to be, MBTI is the basically ESTJ, anything like that, anything definitely with TJ. Less sensitive to their emotions, more able to regulate their emotions because they're less in touch with them. Okay, now the potential trouble spots or issues between the 1 and the 3. If this relationship gets into trouble, what relationship doesn't? It is often over time commitments, lack of emotional attachment to each other, and a creeping sense of competition. I can see my 1 with this. Further, 1s tend to find 3s too workaholic. That'd be the day. Pragmatic and too concerned with image and with their reputations rather than with principle. 1s can see 3s as tending to cut corners in ethical matters, willing to exaggerate or fudge the truth in order to achieve whatever they are after. They can also become critical of 3s if they change their goals pragmatically, dropping efforts or switching positions when something does not work for them. 1s may also have issues with 3s attempting to reattempt ethical questions and with owning up to their personal behavior, not owning up to their personal behavior, including their behavior regarding fidelity in the relationship. Interesting. On the other hand, 3s tend to find 1s too rigid and judgmental in their attitudes and inflexible in various areas. While 3s generally value 1's organizational ability and ability to get things done, they're great at it. Excellent. 3s can also feel that 1s are too narrow-minded and methodical, too perfectionistic and focused on details rather than results. I mean, rather than going for speed like 3s would, 1s would do things the right way and be sure that everything is perfect in how it's done. 3s are just typically looking at the bottom line to move on to the next thing. 3s may have issues with 1s about feeling they are being stifled or judged both for their attitudes and for their actions. That's true. And here's the part. 3s thrive on praise. We do. But stressed 1s are unable to give any credit to themselves, much less to anyone else. 3s see 1's critiques of them as nitpicking and time wasting. When 3s are used to being admired by everybody else but critiqued by the 1, it's going to be difficult. Eventually 3s start avoiding 1s. I haven't experienced that, but I could see it happening. Triggering 1's abandonment issues. I don't see that with my case. And more anger and criticism. There we go. There we go. You know, and maybe my 1 feels that, but I just don't see it. He doesn't express it, of course. Because 1s don't express anything. Both gradually lose respect for the other. 1's losing respect for the 3's integrity, and 3's losing respect for 1's effectiveness. I could see 3 stepping out and not being integrity even with the relationship, but for 1's effectiveness, I'm thinking 3 likes to get it done, and 1 is slower. So in that case, 3s would lose respect because of their difference opinion of there. An open break can occur, but if both find the relationship useful, it can endure as a professional marriage without much passion, but because it is useful to both parties for the continued professional success and personal status. Wow, that's kind of sad. I mean, I see it as sad, but people would see it as practical. It's just business. It just makes sense. I mean, when you think about it, marriages used to be about practicality and about the merging of assets. It wasn't about love and marriage, love within marriage, so that makes sense. I saw from Julie Sheeposh, a dating coach with the Enneagram, that 1s and 3s are a common couple that work well. They're compatible. However, they are not as frequent in the population. And I think that would make sense because 1s are not as common in the population. I take that back because 1s and 7s are a common pairing. As a side note, I'm pleased in a way that I was starting to feel emotional about this because they say in the Enneagram, if it hurts, then you are closer to the truth. If it makes you embarrassed, vulnerable, emotional, you're hitting a nerve deep down in your consciousness. Well, I'm glad that just reading this, at least for my stuff, they don't say like the 1 in 4 that this is not a projected ideal. Although my instinct stack is SXSP3, and that has a lot of 4 energy, but I just choose not to look at it that way. I hope that you found this helpful. If you or your partner is a 1 and a 3, or your friend is, that you can see your guys' compatibility, because the 1s are careful and effective, but actually not as effective in some ways as 3s, because 3s are quick, but they just gloss over the details. Not like the 1 who has to have everything done right with integrity at all times. The 3 can be a little bit more adaptable to those things, especially if they're in unhealth. And again, this is on Enneagram Institute if you want to check it out.